we doing, Nation? John here. Thank you very much for being here and hitting subscribe. Truly, truly appreciate that. Let's go over some gear this morning. What you're going to notice first and foremost, up here somewhere, invisible, right? Normally on videos like this, it says includes paid promotion. Somewhere up in there. I don't know. You don't see that on this video. As I go over the gear here, this is BattleBox Mission 109. It's very important to mention I don't get paid anything by BattleBox, so you are going to get my absolute 100% personal opinion on the gear. I do put links and things down below if you're interested in checking them out, but honestly, whatever you want to do, you want to do, right? So anyway, BattleBox 109, this is the Pro Plus box. Which means everything that they have to offer for the month always comes with a mission statement to begin by their spokesperson, Curran 1776. Let's get straight into it. Basic box this time around, which is the lower, the lower tier box, 4 items. So the Wildland Poison Ivy wipes. Full disclaimer here. I'm one of these weird people that do not really get poison oak and poison ivy. When I'm exposed to it, and I'm like if I'm weed eating, for example, and I get into a mess of it, I might get a few bumps down on the ankle or something, but it doesn't really itch, and it goes away relatively fast. But if you're not one of those weirdos like me, you're gonna get this in the basic box. 12 individual little sleeves here. They're like oversized moist towelettes, if you will. But you just, whatever the exposed area is, you wipe it down. This way you're not itching like crazy for you normies and also not spreading it to other people. So there you go. The second item, utility rope. Now, let me see how much is in here. 70 feet of the utility rope. Comes in a canister. I believe the canister is refillable. You can order more rope or whatever. Honestly, I'm probably not going to, even though it is well made. This is more of a disposable item in my opinion, but a nifty item, I guess. So you're just going to pull some of the cordage out. It does have a cutter built on. You pull up. There you go. So now we got like 69 3/4 feet or something like that in there. So, good for camping, good for hanging up tarps and stuff like that. Number 3, the third item in the basic box, hot snot fire starter. Very familiar with this. Give you a little bit of the backstory. It comes in a box, looks like toothpaste almost, right? And it is made in America. This is a repeat item, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Right there, made in America. It's not necessarily a bad thing because it's a legitimate item. All right, what happened is the first time I got a hold of some hot snot from BattleBox, I liked it. And I actually ordered a tube for every one of the bug out bags. This stuff burns approximately 5 minutes. It's an excellent fire starter. As a matter of fact, at the end of this video, stick around. I'll let you know exactly what I used to get it going along with this. So yeah, this is a good item. Good enough that I actually bought some on my own for the bags and things. So that's item number 3. Finally, Silva tracking, animal tracking flashcards, right? Interesting enough, looks like a deck of cards here that you would get at Walmart or something, but these are animal tracking cards. They have information on different animals like the brown bear, right? There you go. It's going to give you all kinds of statistics, how to track them, where they're typically located and things like this, where you can catch them hanging out or, possibly to avoid them. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, man, if I'm a huge bushcrafter, huge survivalist out in the woods, okay, this is a good item. Other than that, this is just something to read through at the campsite with the boys. You know what I'm saying? This provides a little bit of entertainment. We usually bring standard cards as well. So that's the basic box, and I'm going to break it down for y'all real quick before we move on. again, full transparency, you get my real opinion over here. This is probably the most basic box that I've ever seen them send out. This is, I'm not saying it's a bad basic box, but there's nothing in here that's just like, oh, that's pretty neat. I got to have that. All right. Maybe if you've never tried the hot snot. All right. Again, it's a consumable. There's nothing wrong with any of these items per se. I do like the rope as well, but there's just no standout item. When a consumable is the standout item in a box, there's nothing, there's no wow factor. You know what I mean? There needs to be a wow factor, even for the folks at the basic box level. I've seen EDC knives in this box before. I've seen a lot of other cool things in this box. And I'm just like, this is stuff I can pick up anywhere. All right, so moving on to the advanced box. This is where it gets interesting because the rest of the box, in my opinion, is a home run. All right, so the HOLTZMAN neck knife. And if you know anything about the HOLTZMAN company, they roll deep. They send it out, man. They're always sending it out in a primo case. And you would think that's a huge box for a neck knife, right? We got silica in here. Don't need that. They're going to send you, books, coupon codes, and things. They always do this. Instructions, and here's why with the instructions. You're like, it's a neck knife. Who cares, man? Well, they hook you up. The Holtzman company always hooks you up. So you've got hardware in here. You've got a wrench in here. You've got a ferro rod that goes into the sheath, which I'll get into in a minute. You've got an actual chain like you would use for a good set of dog tags, should you not want to use the cordage that comes preloaded. Preloaded would be a good way to put it, right? So here's the Kydex sheath. There's the strike plate here. The ferro rod just tucks right down in there. And here's the knife itself. A little bit heavier than it looks. I got to be honest with you. It's a little bit heavier. Straight up full tang and thick at that. I mean, just a legit neck knife. Snaps right into the Kydex sheath, just like this. Where's that ferro rod at? There you are. Ferro rod is going to slide right down in here. Now you have the ability to make fire. Again, you can carry this as a neck knife, put this on your neck. I do love neck knives. Again, I've got several, and this is a little heavier. So I don't know how I feel about that. It's probably actually a good thing, right? It's not the flimsy, cheap steel. I'll put all of the specs and all of the, like the blade length and the steel type and stuff in the video description. But I think it's where it's full tang and it's so thick. Again, you can tell the metal's just like boom. You know what I'm saying? But here's the interesting thing. You're going to get an Allen wrench as well, or a hex wrench. Some people call it a hex wrench, I think, because they give you the ability to take it completely off as a neck knife, and then you can slap this booger on here and you can carry it on a belt clip or something like that. Most of the knives that I have with Kydex sheaths have one of these, and I love them. I love to carry them this way. So maybe an EDC. It is a little small for an EDC, a little big for a neck knife. I think it's a great second option. I'm one of these weirdos that sometimes I've been known to carry more than one knife on me. Um, so it is what it is. I think it's, maybe scout carried as a backup option or something, but excellent, excellent item. That's the advanced box item for this month. The Pro Box item for this month. I'm very impressed with this. Very impressed. I just can't say the name here. I'm gonna try though. Cachula. Cachula. Cachula rolls off the tongue, right? So this is many things, right? I'm gonna tell you the three primary functions. So this thing is huge. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Again, I'll put the exact dimensions down below, but it's huge. It's a blanket, folks. first and foremost. All right. But this thing doubles as an emergency poncho because it is rain resistant as well. It's got the buttons here and everything, and then, the headspace where you can slap your head and neck through and use it as a poncho. And if you have more than one of these, you can actually attach them, make this is probably big enough. If you were in bad shape, you could maybe use this as an emergency shelter tarp. But in that case, I would want more than one, to be honest with you, just to make sure. Uh, there's a pocket on here. What happens with the pocket is, okay, there's the hood there, poncho hood. Of course, it's going to button down. But there's also a pocket here, and you can use this. You tuck it into the pocket and carry it around, but it also doubles once again as a pillow. So if you have a legit blanket, many of you do, right? This is a good option. Second option for a blanket or also a pillow. Again, survival tarp. The material is hard to explain. I'm going to try and do my best, though. It's about half the thickness of a wool blanket, if you're familiar, but it doesn't have the itchy wool blanket feeling. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, it almost has, I don't know, a tarp or the inside of a rain jacket or something type of feeling to it. So I love this item. I'll be honest with you. I love this item. I've got wool blankets. Again, I've got ponchos and things, but I don't have an item that does everything all in one. So that's a great item, in my opinion. That is the Pro Box. Again, it is the Cola Tree Cachula blanket with hood poncho setup. Okay. And finally, the Pro Plus box, known on the streets as the Knife of the Month Club. This one I'm not familiar with, but we about to get into it here. The We Knife Banter Folder. So it is a folding knife, okay? I guess that's pretty neat. It's got a pretty neat design on it for a knife box. Not that it really matters much, but just goes to show you they, focus on details and things, which is always a good sign. And again, I'll put all of the specs and everything down below in the video description. As you can see, I'm having trouble even getting the box open for it. So it's got a cleaning cloth, wiping cloth, that is branded. So that's pretty sweet. Silky gel, a book. Yeah, let's see here. Looks like a little miniature catalog or something like that. You're going to get some decals, some knife decals as well, which is pretty neat. The case, it's a folder. I don't know if you would need a case anyway, but there you go. It's nylon, zipping up. I thought that was maybe just printed on, but it's not. It's actually sewn on. So that's a nice touch. Sewn on the back as well. Let's get to the knife, shall we? Get all the pageantry over with here. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Can y'all see that's furry? I don't know why that's interesting to me, but that's interesting to me. A couple of patches there. So, first glance, knife is way too small for my liking. I'm going to be honest with you about it. But it's also a beautiful knife. So it is wooden handle. I would highly suggest, if you've got some sort of some sort of maybe axe handle. Matter of fact, I think BattleBox a while back, maybe in about 6 months or so ago, they sent some, just conditions axe handles and knife handles and things that are wooden. Highly suggest you're going to do that if you're going to be everyday carrying this thing. It is gorgeous. Lightweight. lightweight. So that checks two of my boxes. It is a beautiful knife. That's personal preference. I'm not crapping on the knife. It is a little too small for my liking. As you can see, you know, I'm almost missing two fingers from actually holding it properly, and it is lightweight. Me personally, I prefer fixed blade knives that are a little bit heavier, that have a bigger grip than this. But again, personal preference. Other people want lightweight stuff. It does look like you can switch the clip from one side to the other. So that's fantastic. Again, that is the Knife of the Month Club. And it is called the We Knife Banter Folder. So that's it for BattleBox this time around. All things told, I think it's a solid box. I really, really like the neck knife and the blanket. This is a pretty good knife as well, but this is not something, full disclosure, this is not something I'm EDCing. This is something that I'm putting back just because it looks like a showpiece knife. It's the kind of knife that your friends come over, you're like, hey, check this out, and you show it to them for 5 minutes, and then you put it back up so it doesn't get beat up. You know what I mean? It's not something I would wear every day. The basic box, as I said before, is very basic. So, if you're a basic box subscriber, in my opinion, there's no wow factor this time around. If you have subscribed to anything beyond that through BattleBox, really, really legitimate items this time around. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. God bless.